And don't forget, you can listen to good things. We are streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. Don't forget to watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. You'll see I've got a special guest in the studio with us today. You may know her by her name, Lady V, but her real name is Verbia Harden. She is a Jackson, Mississippi radio personality. She just retired after 50 years in a career this past July 12th. So welcome, Lady V.
Hey, glad to be here.
How does it feel to be back on air?
Well, it's just been a week.
I was going to say, it's only been like 7 days.
So,
yeah.
It hadn't hit me yet.
No, you just feel like you've been on vacation.
Yeah, I'm on vacation right now. Check me out in 2 months and I'll probably be with somebody. Let me on the radio.
We will let you on the radio
you come
anytime.
Cut some commercials with us.
Like,
how about that?
You will always have a job in radio. And I'll have to admit, Rob J., who's a friend on Facebook, and just I think everyone kind of knows Rob J., at least here in Central Mississippi, from all his different media roles.
Yeah.
Had shared a wonderful tribute, about 6 or 7 minute video of your 50-year career. And I found myself just like, I need to know this lady. I need to know because you have made such an impact in so many people's lives, especially in Central Mississippi. But then also to stick with something for 5 decades that can be as tough as the industry of radio. To me, I thought, man, what a lot of wisdom there too to sort of unpack. So to begin, let's go back 50 years ago before you were the tall lady of soul or the 6'3" Lady V.
Yeah.
What was Miss Verbia Harden doing and looking out for?
What was I doing before I got it? I was a secretary. That's how I started. Of course, I was at. I got a job in traffic at WOKJ. It was just OKJ AM station back then. As a matter of fact, when I got the job in traffic, show you how I didn't know about radio, and I'm saying, ooh, traffic. I guess have to be out there directing traffic. I don't know. But anyway, I learned that, and by just answering the telephone, hey, people say you got a nice voice. Have you ever thought about being in radio? And no, I can't do that. But hey, here I am. I got a job weekends, and I grew from that. And hey, stuck around for 50 years. Can you imagine that?
No.
It just.
One year after the other.
Yeah.
It sort of grew that way.
Yeah. And then the latter part, like 2 or 3 years ago, I started saying, well, it's about time for me to retire. But every first of the year, I say that, and then December come, a whole year has passed, and that's out the way. So maybe next year. So
you finally found your time.
Yeah.
Everyone should earn the right, Lady V, to retire.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is a wonderful phase of life to sort of enter. And whenever you do reach that point, you should allow yourself the permission to sort of do that and then be able to have the time to sort of reflect as well. When you took on traffic with your first station, what was the next sort of gig? Because was this for, like, were you hosting and also doing like music also, or sort of share with us kind of how your station was set up?
When I took on traffic back in the day, I was, of course, responsible for putting commercials on and all that. But by me being in traffic for the very first time, I didn't know. And, I didn't think I was going to make it. I said, oh, this is a hard job. I used to take my work home and everything. And but I finally got it together, and they kept me.
They kept, yeah.
Yeah, they kept me.
It's hard to get, it's easy to get, but it's also hard to get. Like, it's like one of those, like, they keep you and then they nixed you. It's just,
just like
yeah,
that.
You just never know. Media is an interesting field to be in, for sure.
Exactly. I was blessed to be in it because, like I always say, I never thought I would be in radio, because I was determined to be the best secretary I could be. And it was a God thing. So that's the way I look at it. He gave me the voice that I didn't know I had, and hey, everything else is history. It's a God thing.
I saw you say that you said, "Oh, I couldn't do that. That'd be hard to show up every day and do that,
do the same thing,
and do the same thing every day." How did it become just sort of a natural thing for you once you got the opportunity, and then you went on to be a DJ and sort of host your own show for so many years there at Kixie 107? Like, did it just sort of feel natural for you, or did you have to sort of work for it, struggle with it a little bit in the beginning?
Well, in the beginning, of course, anything new to you, you're going to struggle a little bit, especially knowing that all these people are listening to me. Oh, my God, I hope I don't mess up type thing. You know what I'm saying? But you adjust just like anything else, and it just became natural. Good morning. Let's start our day. It's all about us. Let's do the stretch and all that. Things that I thought of, little things that came to me that people grew up with me doing. Because I was reading some of the messages on Facebook, and they say, now what we're going to do, we don't have the morning stretch and all this little thing that I do. We don't have the morning stretch. We're not going to get the information and all that. But, yeah.
So how did that start? That was your Healthy Daily segment. You called it the morning stretch. Where did you get the inspiration around that?
I don't know. It popped up. Well, I started just stretching. One night I used to do nights, and I just started stretching, and a nurse called up and said, you know what, you need to breathe in, take a deep breath and let it go. So I incorporated that in the stretch. So we breathe in, let it go, then we stretch. So, it's just something I thought of.
And it became a staple in people's, and sort of people's lives.
Yeah, and I've done it for so many years. I know these people tired of this stretching stuff. But when I would be out and they say, oh, I love the stretch, that's when hey, they like it. So I'm going to keep on doing it.
Because I have found that when a voice is, or a person, or you're a constant in their life. Here on Good Things, when school starts back in, we're constant in the car rider line. So we're introduced to, not only the parents who are picking up or the caregivers, but then also sort of the kids. It becomes kind of like that routine of their day. And it sounds like you kind of fit in with that in the mornings. And then it becomes like kind of that stability that sometimes on the chaotic day that, that folks sort of need. A positive
soothing thing,
stability.
Bring them down. They could be at work shuffling papers. Oh, I got to get this done. It's time to stretch, So hold on a second. Let's stretch it out and feel just a little bit better, type thing.
When did you first started? When did people first start recognizing you outside of the station? Lady, when were you out, and like whether it was at the grocery store or maybe at church, and
that's where it was.
Is that? Do I know that voice?
Let me tell you, when I first started in radio, I was at the grocery store and somebody said, "That's lady." I went to the grocery store looking any kind of way, like we do, when you. But when I found out that they were listening to me, I had to start, dressing up a little bit. I didn't want to go out looking any old kind of way. So yeah, that was exciting. That. The recognition that I received, kind of made me spruce up a little bit and made me kind of enjoy my work because I've never been noticed. I know I'm 6'2", and people do notice me, but, I've never been noticed that way,
Well, and then also you recognize that folks also feel like they know you.
Yeah.
Which they do. Some spent 50 years with you, Lady V. I mean, have you found any listeners that have kind of been there with you from the beginning traffic days?
Yeah. I have several listeners that's been there ever since I've been on radio, and they really kind of took it kind of hard, and
well, they should be retiring too by now, Lady V.
but they're listeners, so they should be retiring from their jobs.
From their jobs also,
basically housewives and stuff like that. But I guess they should be retiring by now or retired. But
I love hearing that folks, they started with them and then they introduced their kids and then now their grandkids over a span of, and to me, as somebody who hopes to leave some kind of, positivity behind, that's the kind you hope that you're the type of voice that they feel comfortable introducing to the next generation, and sort of that next generation and being shared.
Oh, when I was retiring, a young lady called me and she said, I learned to speak because of you. And she said, when I was a little kid, I used to hear my mom, the radio was on Kixie, and I heard you talk, and I learned to speak because of you. I call it my Lady V voice. I put on my Lady V voice when I be trying to talk, and all that. Little things like that make you realize, hey, I think I did kind of have an impact on this, on my listeners,
You absolutely did. And there's so many that hate that you are no longer on the air, but you're always around, and you're going to stick around for a little bit longer. We've got more with Lady V coming up next.
Thank you.
To Good Things, streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. Don't forget to watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We're still continuing with our special guest who's in studio with us today. You may know her, as I said, like Lady V, or maybe you know her as 6'3" Lady V, or the tall Lady of Soul.
Yeah.
But Verbia Harden is our guest today, and she had a 50-year career in radio, specifically here in the Jackson metro area, and she's a legend. And I just love chatting with people who have been in it, especially who didn't, like Will and so many others may have gone and gotten their degree in broadcasting or feel like they belong here. You and I just kind of fell into it.
Exactly.
In that way. And they can't get rid of us, can they?
No, I hung around a long time to have just fallen into this business, Ooh, I cannot complain.
But 50 years, Lady B, that is, I can't imagine. So we're just talking off air about sort of technology and just mentioning my dad's work in radio and television repair, remembering going around, seeing him work on analog tube TVs, that kind of thing, and how sort of the changing of technology just really hit him at the right time to be able to retire. You've seen massive changes over 5 decades in the radio business or industry. What are some of the most major that changed from when you first started to like when you chose to retire and hang up your...
So when we first started in radio, we used to have to queue our records up. We used to have carts with commercials on. We had to pull the carts down and line them up and play them and all that. But now, with technology like it is, our music is on computers, and we got the option of voice tracking, or you can go live, so if you don't feel like talking live today, I think I'll voice track, or you could be at the house. I shouldn't have said that. Next time I know. You critique yourself. But things have really, really changed. It's changed for the better, I think, because we no longer have to pull all the carts or cue the song. Make sure you got a cue. Do you know what cue is? Since you only been in radio a little while.
No.
So you don't even...
I mean, I could do my best guess in terms of like set it up, like get it to play, put them in order, all of that. Am I close?
Cueing a record is when you put it right at the edge, so when you hit the button, it's going to start.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what we used to have to do, all that cue the record.
So it would have been a little more intense, I guess you would say, in that way. And you got to choose your own music, I guess, at one point.
No, we always have had program directors telling you what to play, but you had options to play sometime what you wanted to hear. But program directors usually, music directors, I should say, and program directors are usually kind of responsible for the music that you get from the record companies and stuff. They have to go through, listen to it, make sure we can play it and all of that.
Did you ever get feedback of like, hey, the listener's really not into this particular song? Or they ever say, what do you think's a hit that's maybe not making it up the charts that should?
Well, if we do get it, a song that's, I don't even feel like playing this song. You don't sound like nothing, but you got to play your music. You want a job, you're going to play this song, but, But things have changed so much, and like I said, it's changed for the better as far as radio is concerned. But I look at it, sooner or later, you may not have live jocks anymore, because things changing so much. So I think I did pretty good to, go through what I have gone through, being a live jock, and because, like I said, things will change, and people may not have jobs
Things
anymore.
always look differently. Well, look, I mean, you think of like just mentioning my dad in that particular industry. The people just started tossing out their analogs for digital. Who has an analog anymore? I mean, you're not calling a service person to come and change out your tube or sort of fix it for you. And he just wasn't at the age or stage where he wanted to learn the new technology. Some people probably made that transition perfectly, sort of fine. But it would be sad to think of a world, Lady V, without local voices.
And information.
It still has a place, wouldn't you say?
Well, I definitely would say, because you got to have your local jocks to get the local information, so you can keep your listeners informed. People from up north don't know what's going on down in Mississippi, so that's why I think it's important that we keep local jocks, and, I don't know.
In your video with Rob J, a lot of it was talking about mentors, a lot of the voices that you've helped over at JMI or Kixie or 99 Jams, which is linked to my childhood, or I see my teenage, my parents be like, your childhood? No, my teenage years. What was like some of your advice to those that are either just starting out or like me, only been in it for less than a decade?
Well, we were family. Everybody had their role, just like any place else. I was the mama. I'm the mama figure. So if anything goes wrong, they're going to come, Lady V. This is that and that and that. And, I'm the calm person around there. I'm the Libra. I balance the scales. And I'm the positive person. No matter what's going on, I'm going to tell you the positive side of it. So let's straighten it out. But that's the role I played. I was the mama. I was the mama around the station. So that they say mentor, but and try to give advice to the young ones coming in. I tell them to always remain humble. I don't care how big you get, remain humble, because you can lose your job just like that, and you back down to a person nobody even know, but you've been so stuck up, ain't nobody gonna want to speak to you. So always remain humble. I don't care how successful you get into radio. I think that's how I stayed in there so long, because I always remained humble. And when I retired and I saw some of the things that people were saying on Facebook, that made me cry, because I didn't know that I influenced people like that.
And it should, but that's because you were just showing up and doing your job, because you obviously sort of had a passion for it. When you decided that this was the July 12th was going to be your final, who was the first person you told?
I think I called my daughter. No, around the station, I started telling, Mama had to go break it to everybody. I told Alice Marie, Big Baby on JMI, no, V, stop playing. I said, yeah, it's time. Then I went on to Asa, another good friend of mine, and told her, and she just boo-hooed. And, everybody got me kind of crying around there, because I had accepted that, hey, it's time. It's time.
50 years, I think you put in your dues, Miss Lady B, for that. What was it like signing on for the first or the last time?
Tears. When I clicked that mic and said, this is Lady V for the last time. And I started crying. This is my last time. And then I started thinking about all the years that I've been in radio. And, oh, my God, it was hard that last day. It was very, very hard, but I made it. I was crying. Everybody was crying, but we made it.
But that's when you know that you fought the good fight, right?
Yeah,
and you
like
did the
say.
work that was called, and then you were able to sort of sign off on your own terms. And so what's next for you, Lady V?
Right now, I don't know. Right now, I'm going to enjoy 2 or 3 weeks. If something, you never know. Hey, something come along, you never know. Maybe volunteer work, or maybe somebody say, well, you know what, Lady V is not working anymore. Let's hire her. Maybe I'll get back in the job market. I don't know.
Would you have still been a secretary there had they never gave you the chance to do traffic? Well, you can't. Maybe, possibly.
Well, that's how I was a secretary and in traffic. That's
Gotcha.
how I got the job. Yeah. But that was WOKJ back in the day. So, that's a good question. I don't know.
Speaking of technology, has made traffic easier, hadn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Than I
Yes,
would imagine.
indeed.
Well, you probably were at the mercy of people calling in and letting you know of backups and things, right?
Exactly, boy. I tell you. But it was different then. Oh, my God, was it different than traffic now? Because they got computer pushing 5 or 6 logs out. But when I was doing traffic, I had to sit there and type up every hour, put every commercial in there every hour, which took a whole lot of time.
Did you just get mad at folks that would have wrecks? Were you just like, y'all ruined everything for me this morning? Not mad.
No. I didn't.
Do you miss cutting up commercials with scissors and glue?
Oh, my goodness. Boy, I'm telling you, the tapes and all that stuff and editing and... Oh, no, I don't miss that. To answer your question, no.
Well, don't miss Lady B. We got more of her coming up next. That's a good thing. Streaming live over at SuperTalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app. We hope you have downloaded that. We're always too on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget about SuperTalk TV. We are on your computer or your mobile device. We're continuing our conversation with Verbia Harden, Miss Lady V, also known as 6'3" Lady V and the Tall Lady of Soul. She just wrapped up a 50-year career in radio here at Kixie 107 in Jackson, which I guess that was 35 years of your 50 years in radio, but folks really know from you from there. Okay, so we were talking that not radio hosts or I guess personalities or DJs, they don't necessarily have nicknames or calls or anymore. So how did you get your handles? How did you get your Lady V? When did that come in? From the very beginning?
Yeah, so when I found out I was going to be on radio, so it was another jock named Dwayne Reeves say, so what you going to call yourself? I said, I don't know. I said, Verbia is kind of hard to remember. And Dwayne said, I know. We'll call you Lady V. So, hey.
And that stuck. Yeah, and Verbia is such a beautiful name. That's a family name?
Yeah. Well, my grandmother named me. As far as I know, it's a family name. I don't know the origin of it, but it served its purpose with me.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Yeah.
And we have a text line, Lady V, and one of our texters texted in and said Lady V was one of a kind, always positive and uplifting. She will be missed. But I love always the positive and uplifting because that's absolutely what we try to do here on Good Things. We feel like there's enough of the other stuff sort of out there, and that folks really need that pause in their day for something a little bit of light and sunshiny. Was it very intentional? Is that just your character, just to always sort of stay on that positive side? Because it's also hard to show up every day and be a ray of, you can't be a ray of sunshine every single day, but I always tell folks that even on those hard days you can do it for an hour, because even we need it. So was that very intentional for you to kind of have that positive viewpoint?
I think it's natural. And you can go to work, you can be feeling, oh Lord, I'm not going to make it today, and once you hit that switch, no one will ever know. That's the way they taught you. No one is supposed to know that you're feeling bad. So you have to always be positive. So it's not that I be trying. This is, hey, once you hit that switch, you just change. Your personality, everything changes.
It sounds like we're similar, Lady V, where we don't take for granted that there's other human beings on the end that are listening. I try to be very intentional with that as well, knowing that you never know what someone's day is looking like. Some are having the best day ever. Some are going to have their worst day ever. And you may end up being part of that day. You have a prayer that you prayed before for 50 years. I can't say that. I mean, I got some that go up, but they're not the same thing every day. But I may steal yours. But what did you sort of lead into your show with every day?
Well, for 50 years before I went to work, I always said this prayer. I say, Lord, give me the words I may need to put a smile on someone's face who may be feeling like no one cares. And for 50 years, the Lord gave me those words that I needed to put a smile on someone's face. Yeah.
And now that you've since, signed off and retired, all it's flooding in that it worked. You just humbly went to work and did. It's the one thing in this sort of social media likes, shares sort of like world when you're in radio, unless we hear you honk your horn, which we really can't hear from in here, or you text in, we don't have that opportunity to connect with you in that sort of moment, but to know that when you do come up and say, hey, or get introduced to kids or whatever, how much that means to know that there are people, even if they can't high five you or raise their hand, they are out there listening.
I viewed, like when I be talking on radio, I just look at it like these are my people and they're sitting there listening to me. So we just one big group, and they're listening. So I got to entertain them. So it's like it's a feeling. I can't explain it, but that's how I got by every day.
Now you have a daughter
and a son.
They grew up with mom as a radio personality in their town, right? So how was that for them, for being Lady V's kids?
Well, my daughter would tell me, she said, Mom, I don't tell anybody that you are my mom because I want them to like me for me and not because I'm Lady V's daughter. So I thought that was kind of cute of her. Yeah. And my son, well, yeah, he, they didn't care. They, it's just mom.
Just mom?
Just mom.
Did either one of them decide to go into the industry?
No.
No.
My daughter speaks well, but but they never wanted to be in radio, I don't think. No, I don't think they did, no.
No. This wasn't necessarily what you had thought you would do either. Did you ever, you still just look back and go, I just spent 50 years
doing what I enjoyed doing.
Do what I enjoyed doing, but never knew this was going to be an opportunity.
Right. I always tell people it was a God thing because I was a secretary at Jackson Hines Comprehensive Health Center. I started out at MAP Incorporated being a secretary, and I lost my job. They fired me at Jackson Hines. But anyway, it led me to WOKJ. That was my third job. And that's why I say it was a God thing, because it led me there. And then by me talking a lot, answering the phone, folks said, have you ever thought about being on the radio? So, hey.
Here we are. 5 decades later.
Yeah.
Other than your prayer every morning, Lady V, and your morning stretch, did you have any rituals, back that just sort of kept and made the day or the show go well? Or did you have any kind of, thing you look forward to, like that just sort of was a constant for you?
Not really. Other than my morning stretch, not too much of anything else. But yeah, I always try to be positive and always try to talk to listeners that I thought maybe be having a down day, because everybody is not. But there's one person out there that's not 100% today for whatever reason it may be. It was my job to I may say something funny, because I'm a very humorous person. I got that type personality because I grew up with my brothers and sisters, and we always, funny. So, so I got that. But anyway, I always try to say something that'll make a person laugh or something like that. Yeah.
What would you say to someone that was interested in the business of radio?
Find another job.
Say run.
Run. And not because you wouldn't enjoy being in radio, but job market for looking for an announcer it's just not happening nowadays. Find another career, because it's hard to get into radio. Very, very, very hard. We were blessed, That's why I say it's a God thing, because I was blessed because I never thought I'd be doing radio. But I'm not trying to discourage anybody from taking mass communication or whatever, but being in radio is very hard to get into nowadays.
What are you going to miss the most?
The people. I didn't even have to think about that. I'm going to miss the people at work, because we would be laughing. Everybody got a joke to tell. You know how it is. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't know how, but at my station,
you can't last without a sense of humor of some kind.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody got something going on, and you're gonna laugh, and that's what I'm gonna miss. Just the laughter, the camaraderie at the station that we had going on. I'm gonna miss the guys, and plus I'm gonna miss my listeners. I'm gonna miss them a whole lot. Yeah.
Well, I think they're going to miss you too. But with one door closes, you never know what the next door may be that opens. God got you there for 50 years. I don't think he's going to be done using you just yet, Lady V. I don't know what that looks like, but maybe you just need to rest for a little while until that next season of chapter comes. Yeah. And you obviously felt at peace for closing it closing it out. How would you always close out your show? Did you have like a special send off or something you would do?
For years. I want to thank you for sharing your time with me, because I do realize you really, really just did not have to do it. We're going to try to hook it up come tomorrow morning. We're going to see if we can do it just a little bit better.
I love that. See, well, I'm failing. Like, you hear things like that, and you're just, you're like, man, you just so much that can be learned from those that have sort of walked before. And I just appreciate your time here on Good Things Today, Miss Lady V. I hate that I didn't get to grow up in the era of tuning in and listening. I'm going to miss the morning stretch. I feel like we need to get you some sort of social media account or something. There's going to be folks that are going to want to tune in and have their daily dose of Lady V.
In the morning stretch?
In the morning stretch.
Well, I really do appreciate you asking me to come on. I really do. Thank you.
All righty. Well, I don't think it'll be the last time. How about that, Lady V?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Made a new friend.
Yeah.
All right. You guys stick with us. We got more